is magic in like just finding that community of people because a lot of times, YouTube doesn't have it all, Google doesn't have it all, you don't know what book to pick up in a library, right? I mean, there's resources all over the place, but having that step-to-step approach, it sometimes is unique to who you are, but you can learn so much by the steps that other people have taken, right? And to when you're sharing and talking about where you are and you're in the process of just developing or whatever it may be that you're doing, to be able to learn and to get wisdom from people that gone before you so you don't have to make some of the same mistakes.
Are you looking for a place to continue to grow and develop, especially in your leadership? How about connecting with others who feel the same way? Hi, I'm Paul Ferrandi, aka IncrediPaul, and I've got great news for you. The IncrediPaul community is for people who desire to become the most incredible versions of themselves. The community is for individuals who are goal-driven and action-oriented. This community is dedicated to leadership and personal growth, especially in going deeper in your career, starting a business, or developing a business. Join me in becoming the most incredible version of yourself. Go to incredipaul.org/community to join the waitlist and sign up. INCREDI Paul.org/community. Join the waitlist. I can't wait to see you there.
Turn this up.
Your professional development is one of the keys to your career success. When you combine your desire to grow with actionable steps, your journey to success becomes an incredible reality.
Hi, I'm Paul Ferrandi, and welcome to IncrediPaul Leadership, where we learn how to become the most incredible versions of ourselves by learning from each other. Today, I have the honor of having Ricky Venters on the show. He's an accomplished business executive and serves as a co-founder and co-host of the Success Journey Show. And he also co-founded Hit Dr. MD, a sports training and product development company. So that's just a little bit about Ricky. But how about you introduce yourself the way you would do it, Ricky?
Oh man, Paul, first and foremost, man, just grateful to be here, grateful to connect with you, grateful to see all the wonderful things that you're doing.
Thank you.
I want to give you your what they say now, your flowers, man, because we met, oh my goodness, probably 5, 6 years ago,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
not more than that. And you were just an inquisitive person, just asking questions, wanting to connect, and just to see where you have progressed and you have gone over your journey, man. I'm just super excited to see it. So, congrats
Thank
to
you.
you on
Thank you.
having this podcast, having this platform, all the things you're doing in your career. And I'm just grateful to be on the show today. So, Ricky Venters, um, man, I would say the sum of me is that I'm a wife, 3 boys, and that just kind of pushes and motivates a lot of things that I do, right, in
Mm.
different spaces that I'm in. As Paul mentioned, I have a podcast with my long time, almost 30 years of friendship and
Wow.
brotherhood with my co-host, and we've been this at the end of 2023 would be 5 years doing that podcast.
Amazing.
And along that journey, prior to that, I was doing a lot of different things. That's where I met Paul and doing a lot of stuff in STEM and things of that
Hmm.
nature. My background being in engineering. Um, but from that podcast, that was a pivotal time in my life because from that, a lot of things started to stem out. And I started to be able to be exposed and touched a lot of different areas. And as he mentioned, the hit doctor is something we'll talk about a little bit later.
Yeah.
But it's a you know everything started around, hey, me really focusing on my family, locking in what they really need,
Hmm.
locking in with my brother of over 30 years and really
Hmm.
just start building out from there. So really excited to be on and just kind of share that journey with everybody today.
Yeah, that's really awesome to see all the stuff that you're doing. I know that's just a snippet of it, but you mentioned already. Let's talk about the hit Doctor Emily as far as how was that started? What is it about? Like, just give us the lay of the
Yeah,
land.
yeah. So Paul, when we met a few years ago, man, I was on the road constantly.
Yeah.
I was going speaking at conference at the conference.
Hmm.
Um, traveling the nation. It was a beautiful time, wonderful time. But then something happened. Like I said, everything centers around my family. My
Mm,
boys started to get a little bit older. They started getting involved in sports.
yeah.
And one sport they started doing was baseball. And it was one of those things where I see my kids and I have that drive to be the best at whatever I'm doing.
Hmm.
So I want to be able to kind of push them, or not push them, but provide the opportunity for them to be the best in what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
Um, so if I say, hey, this is what you want to play baseball, okay, we'll try it out for a couple of years. But when I see if you really want to get into it, all right, so what things can I help you, or resources can I put around you in order for you to grow? So one day we were in a hitting cage, and I don't know anything about baseball, man. I'm not a baseball guy at that time. Now I'm a
Yeah,
lot
that's right. Yeah.
person. And I'm looking at the corner in this hitting cage in this facility, and all you hear is just smack, smack, smack. Guys that were just hitting the ball at the ball, girls that were going there smacking the ball at the ball. And you see this little short trainer in the corner just throwing these balls at him, like boom, boom,
Oh,
underhand,
yeah.
boom, right?
Yeah, the
And
soft
I'm
pass.
just like, man, this guy is, these kids are good. Like, so I'm looking at those kids and where they are. Then I'm looking at my son on his little rec team, and I'm just like,
Oh, man.
yeah, I think I need to talk to this guy a little bit and see what
Yeah.
see what I can do, right? So
Hmm.
I connect with him, got his number, and then I used to go to practices whenever they had him in the facility just to go see if that guy was there and watch him
Oh.
train his kids, right? So I let that season go by. The next season's come around. My son's like, yeah, I want to play baseball again. I was like, all right, well, let's connect you with this hitting instructor.
Hmm.
uh, at that time, I kind of pulled back from a lot of going out and speaking and doing a lot of different endeavors and things of that nature, and started to kind of hone more in on the things that my kids needed. And my wife had gone into the workforce, so it was like, all right,
Mm,
let me pull back a little bit so that she can elevate and grow in what she's doing, get
yeah.
acclimated back into the space. So, when my son said he wants to do baseball, I said, all right, well, let me, I'm home more. Let's do it. Let's get a trainer during the week. So I
Okay.
called this guy up a year later, called this guy up and
Oh,
said, hey,
wow. A year later?
a year later, I called this guy up and said, hey, man, you still training? He was like, yeah, I'm still training. I guess you got something set up at my house. I was like, oh, okay. So me and my co-host for my best friend Marlon, he was up here for the weekend. So he came with me and we walked over to this guy's house. I mean, drove to the guy's house.
Hmm.
Um, walk up to him, he sees my son, and then he starts working with him. I mean, he just start working, and immediately you start seeing improvements, right? Because I knew
Wow.
this guy was great. I'm looking at this like Paul, we seen what great looks like on so many
Yeah,
different
that's
levels, right?
true.
We see that. So
Yeah.
when you see somebody and you see them operating at that high level, you're like,
Mm,
man, this guy's special.
Have you enjoyed listening to the IncrediPaul podcast? Are you looking for a way to support it? Or maybe you just want some swag? Check out the IncrediPaul store today. We have shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, hats, stickers, and so much more. Go to IncrediPaul.org, IncrediPaul.org, and click on the store link. Or go to the link in my socials bio and click on the IncrediPaul shop. Looking forward to seeing your IncrediPaul look.
This
you
guy
can
is
tell.
special.
Definitely.
So I said, you know what, my son's gonna hang out with him and do things. So he was training my son for a little while, and then after a couple of lessons, he starts saying, "Hey, man, I got these ideas in my head, man. I ain't got
Mm.
no one to help me." I was like, well, "Okay, what kind of ideas you have?" He said, "Yeah, I got some inventions I want to make, and I don't even know, how to get it started." I asked this one guy that does AutoCAD. He doesn't want, he doesn't have time. I tried this.
Oh,
He don't have time. He don't have time. I said, "Well, I'm an engineer. I can
yeah.
I can look at it, and then we'll sit down and look at it, right? You tell me your
Yeah.
idea, we draw it out, and we'll, go from there."
Hmm.
So we sat down. We kind of, he told me the concept, what he wanted, and we just started drawing ideas. And then he looked at me and said, "Man, we got to start a business." And
Wow.
I was like, "Oh man, well, I'll just kind of help you. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to get committed to anything." Remember, I told you I kind of pulled back because
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
the family and everything. I said,
Hmm.
"I'm not trying to get committed to anything right now. I just want to I'm here to help you." He's like, "Nah, man." He said, "Knowing where I think this thing can go, there's no way that you can just be someone that helps me. We got to be partners."
Mm.
And
Wow.
So we started a business. His nickname over the years has been the Hit Doctor.
Okay, I see.
So that's where the Hit Doctor name came out.
Okay.
And that's how the whole company was birthed, right?
Wow.
So as you mentioned, we're a sports product development company. Um, we patented and released our first product on the market. We released it to the public in a hard launch in January of this year, 23. That's actually
Wow.
behind me right here. And
Yeah, well, yeah, share that. What before you do that, if you're listening, you're gonna want to turn into YouTube because he's gonna share a few things that some of the products that he's created.
yeah,
If you're already on YouTube, just stay tuned.
yeah. So this first product that we released is called the Elite Swing Trainer. And what it does, I mean, for people that are not, baseball or softball savvy, what it does, it helps the hitter in their techniques to keep their hands in close into the ball. All right. What that
Okay,
means,
keep your
right?
hands in. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. If you don't know baseball, a lot of times
inside of the ball.
you start swinging wild and dropping your hands and all this kind of stuff. All this lingo I did not know when I started, right? But what this helps you do is keep your hands in tight so that you
Mm,
can connect the sweet spot of the bat to the ball. All right.
mm,
So there's a drill that's out there currently right now called the net drill, and it's been used for hundred years, right? Whenever
mhm.
baseball started, this drill
Yeah.
started. And the difficulty in it is you have to have the net one, right, to do the drill. Some people use a fence, but then you're looking at these bats now. These bats are 300, $400.
Oh yeah.
So you don't want to be hitting your bat up against a wall or a chain link fence or even
Yeah.
a L screen, right? So we came up with something that connects to any tee, and that's another thing I had to learn, right? I thought tee was just for tee-ball. Like, no, if you're playing at a
Oh
level
yeah. Just
baseball,
stay on
like
top of the ball.
tees are for elite players, right? They
Yes.
work off the tees, right?
Yeah.
It's like shooting free throws for NBA players,
Hmm.
like practicing that using a tee, right? So we call it tee work. So we've created a device that connects onto any tee and replicates that net drill for them, and they can take it's mobile. They can take it anywhere now, right, and work
Oh wow.
on their swing. So this is what it looks like here. Simple device. This right here is called the bridge, and this bridge connects onto a T,
Mm,
wraps around there. And this part right here is where the magic happens. It's called our indicator, and this
okay.
indicator comes in, locks into the device, right? And then if the person hits it, it gives away, showing that it was struck. Now the idea is to not hit this,
Oh,
right?
okay.
But if they do hit it, it it's a
Okay, you know right away.
it's a spring mechanism. So this can be adjusted, like different holes here, so different
Yeah.
skill levels. So you may start off out here, and as you get better, this position right here is actually the closest that will allow it to get to the tee because this is the sweet spot of the bat right here. So
Oh, okay.
it's simple approach. People look at it as like, man, why didn't I think of it? And I was like, well,
Yeah.
I'm
That's
glad you did it. Um,
that's
but
gave you the opportunity, right?
exactly right. So that right there has definitely been a journey because launching a product is something I've never done
Yeah,
before.
wow.
And we just learned along the way, man. That's it.
That's really incredible. And baseball is one of my favorite sports. I don't know if you can see up there. I
Oh
like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
SCL
yeah,
Cardinals.
yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
diehard Cardinals fan. Hasn't been a great season, but oh wow.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is really cool that you were able to not only like because I know you said at the beginning, like when we met, and I think I don't remember what that was. It might have been like 2015 or 16. Now that I think about it, 'cause I
yeah,
was still in college. So
yeah, yep, yep.
that you were traveling a lot, but then you were taking a step back. And as you're taking a step back to get more involved in your kids' lives, that you were able to connect with this hit doctor. And it
Yeah.
feels like the right place at the right time. Kind of,
That, and the irony is my son was involved in baseball, so it was something that he was part of. right? So it wasn't me just going and doing something separate and like, hey, I got to go speak here, I got to go do this. Like, no, this is
Yeah.
something that he's doing.
Yeah.
So I'm able to build a company in a space that he's in. Now
Yeah.
he doesn't play baseball today. He kind of gave it up a couple of years ago during COVID, but it was still
Oh,
an
okay.
opportunity for even us to connect and bond on because it was
Definitely.
something that he loved, and now me building a product around it. So it's beautiful, man, and we have a lot more products coming. We're going to be releasing another one. We're actually releasing the prototype for everyone to see in December, and in
Oh,
January, a couple of conferences that we're going to be at, and that'll be
amazing.
our second product on the market. But it's going well, and you learn so much on the journey about just being a business owner and a product developer and things of that nature that sometimes you can't even pick up in a book, right? It's just stuff that
Yeah.
on the fly. So I would say, as an engineer, if I tie like this STEM into all this,
Mm-hmm.
engineers have that unique ability to just figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're problem solvers.
Yes.
Like we look for solutions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this right here, I just looked at a big problem and how
Yeah.
do I break the problem down into chunks and just learn along the journey. So, prime example, how do you patent something?
Mm.
I
Yeah.
mean, in engineering, of course, you hear about it, you talk about it a little bit, but
Yeah.
how do
I
you
have
actually
no
go through the
idea.
process? How do you go through the process of
Yeah.
patenting something, right?
Yeah.
Do a provisional patent, do a full utility patent, do a
Oh,
design
wow.
patent, get trademark, do copyright, do all the different things. And all you do is, like, as you get to these different stages, you just learn it. Like, let me talk
Mm.
to people that have done it. Let me talk to a lawyer. Let me talk to this.
Yeah.
Talk to accountant to make sure my finances are right. Let me raise money for through investors so we can have seed money and capital money to actually do all these different things. And
Mm-hmm.
I've never did any of this before. I've
Mm.
seen it done, but I
Yeah.
never done it for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I've coached people as to kind of what they should do based off of the process that I knew, but I never
Yeah.
actually touched the process myself. So
Mm-hmm.
this was like my first go at running through the process
Mm.
and learning along the way. So it definitely a blessing, man, and exciting.
That's really cool. I
Yeah.
like how you touched on that as far as learning through the process. I feel like a lot of times, whether it's in people's careers or especially in business, there's that hesitancy to start or do
Mhm.
something because of what you said, that they haven't done it before. They don't necessarily know what to do. But
Yeah.
what I've been learning, and what you just mentioned, is that really taking that first step, when you take the first step, then you know what the next step is. And as
Yes.
you're doing this, it's also important to tell people about what you're doing, because you
Mm.
never know who's listening or who's watching, because you're able to connect with that person. And
Yes.
there's several other times, like even when I started podcasting, at first no one really knew I was podcasting, but then this year I've been more intentional and telling me people about it, and I've really learned so much in the last like even 2 months. Not talk about this year, how much I've learned.
Yeah, dude. It's magic in like just finding that community of people because a lot of times, YouTube doesn't have it all, Google doesn't
Mhm.
have it all,
Mhm.
you don't know what book to pick up in the library,
Yeah,
right? I mean, there's resources all over the place, but having that step-to-step approach, it sometimes is unique to who you are, but you
yeah,
can learn so much by the steps that other people have taken,
that's
right?
true.
And to when you're sharing and talking about where you are and you're in the process of just developing or whatever it may be that you're doing, to be able to learn and to get wisdom from people that gone before you, so you don't have to make some of the same mistakes,
That's
right?
good. That's really
And
good.
you can also get there faster. Like,
Mhm.
for this first product here, it took us we did almost 2 years of testing the prototype.
Mhm.
Did it need to take that long? I don't know. Like, no, I look back at it now, like, no, but we wanted to be sure,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Um, were we intentional about saying make it 2 years? No, it just that's what it was, like
Yeah,
2 years, right?
yeah.
It took us from concept to actually having a product in hand took us around three years to
Hmm.
actually have the finished product
Mhm.
in hand. Three and a half years maybe to have the
Mhm.
finished product. But when we started it, we didn't know how long that was going to take. We didn't
Yeah.
know, what was going to be needed around that.
Hmm.
Uh, and it wasn't until probably a year and a half in, after we had the prototype made, that we really got that confirmation. We knew it was working with the guys that we were training. I mean, that's one benefit that we had. Like
It's good.
uh, Tom is my partner, business partner. He's training all the time, so he does
Mm.
over 600 sessions a year, right?
Wow.
So that,
600 sessions a year?
oh yeah,
What?
absolutely, 600 sessions a year of training, and so we were testing that thing in each of his sessions.
Yeah.
So imagine how many swings that and he has them in each session. Before they start, they have to clear 2 buckets of balls.
Are you wondering what's next? Has everything you tried failed? Or maybe you just feel stuck? Then coaching might be right for you. The coaching relationship is a relationship totally centered on you. If you're tired of running on the hamster wheel of life and want to start to see results, reach out to IncrediPaul for help. So what are you waiting for? Go to IncrediPaul.org/coaching, IncrediPaul.org/coaching, or at I am IncrediPaul on all my socials. Or you can click the link in the bio for your free coaching session. I want to make sure you become the most incredible version of yourself. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Using this device and on a tee, right? So imagine how many times this thing was getting worked, how many times it was getting
Okay.
hit,
Yeah.
we're
All the
getting
reps
right
in.
feedback because of all the reps that are incorporated in his training already. So it
Mm.
was beautiful for us. So people are like, oh man, he's got a product, you got it out. Like, yeah, no, we didn't just get it out. Like we this thing was proven. Sometimes it broke and we had to figure out why it broke.
Oh,
Sometimes
okay.
it did this and we had to figure out why it was doing this.
Mm.
Sometimes we weren't given the right feedback. So we had to tweak it here to get the right feedback. Sometimes it was
Yeah.
too heavy, too light, the wrong material that was made of, 3D printing. Oh, that don't work too well. Let's try this one here. Like, so there's so many iterations to get us where we are, but that ability to, one, we just kept following one step after the other and just applying what we knew. And we didn't really have a timetable that we were trying to work.
Mm.
And it was just like, all right, let's just let this thing organically grow. Now for the second product, now we have the system in our head. We
Okay.
know exactly how long it should take
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
conception to the market, right? And honestly, it's crazy because now I'm actually holding the process back a little bit
Oh,
because I
wow.
go
How
so fast. I'm like,
so?
no, 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 let's not go that fast. I know we can get it out. We can probably get it out next week, but no, let's not do that. Let's take it through the conference. Let's get some more validation. Make sure people are seeing it, make sure it's proven, and then let's go and launch it out. Like, it's not
Yeah.
because we know the process now. So for what
Okay.
took us 2.5 years to start, now we can do that in like less than 6 months, right?
Wow.
So it's just like, but you're learning, and you're
Mhm.
growing along the way. So
So that's really powerful. That you were really intentional about just going through everything you needed to do. Like you didn't put a time limit on it. And I
yeah,
think whether it's developing a product or even developing yourself, I think it's kind of the same process you need to take. That it
yeah,
might, because people talk about being an overnight success or being successful really quickly, but yeah, exactly. There's no such thing as an overnight success. People might see the results like somewhat overnight because they haven't seen all the work you've been putting in. And
yeah,
so I think it's really crucial that you talked about in the product development space that you went from just a concept to the actual product in 3.5 years. Now you're saying I can do that in 6 months, and now just from one product. So it just
yeah,
builds upon
yeah,
each other.
yeah, dude. It's and when you think about that, like you said, just even in the personal development, one comment that I heard as of late was, don't if this is for anyone in entrepreneurship that wants
Yeah.
to go explore into that, is don't expect to go in there without being committed to go 5 years without making any money.
Mm,
And a lot of entrepreneurs now is like, oh, we get in, we're going to turn a profit tomorrow. We're going to turn a profit tomorrow.
yeah.
But it doesn't work that way, man.
No.
It doesn't work that way, right? but being okay with knowing that if you just keep pushing forward, if you
Mhm.
just keep being diligent in what you're doing and the small things that you're doing over time, that will build up. You go
Mhm.
plus 5 years and you're like, wow, look what we put together. No, it wasn't an overnight success. We've been
No.
at this thing
For
for a
a
while,
while.
right? So when I disappeared in like 2018, 2019, 2018, people are, oh man, Rick's not doing anything. Oh yeah, I was working. I was working my behind off at home. I
Yeah.
was working. I was building something.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden people start seeing like, oh man, where did this come from? Like, oh, man, we've been working on this for the
We're
past three
working.
years. We're in year 4 now, right? And people are seeing it all online and ads and all these different things. But all this stuff was built in the dark, right?
Mm,
And no one knew what I was doing. It
yeah.
was announced, and people were like, wow, when did you get over here? And I was like, oh yeah, it's been a while. But I didn't really talk about it, right?
Mhm.
Now we have something to talk about. It's a beautiful thing, but we also can appreciate the journey in it.
So that's really cool. So how do you balance that between just doing the work and talking about it? Because I know that a lot of times when you're doing the work, there's opportunities to learn from others and develop. So how are you able to balance between knowing when you should start talking about it versus just like you were talking about developing in the dark? 'Cause I know that's very crucial.
Yeah. No. So I'm in. So I hit 40 this week. All right. And with
Congratulations.
some thanks, man. And for some reason, it has me like just in that state of just reflecting. I don't know. I don't know why. I'm like, why am I reflecting at 40 right now? I didn't like 39, 38. Like, why am I such in that space of just reflecting? And I realized something about myself is that I get super focused and locked in when I'm working, when my mind is made up of something that I'm doing, right?
Mm,
And I get obsessed with it. Like that's all I think about, all my conversations about that. But my conversations are with the people that are on that journey with me. Right.
okay.
So if you would have
Okay.
asked me if I was in the dark, I would have never said, I said, no, I'm not in the dark. What are you talking about? I talked to this person, but
Okay.
all
Okay.
those people are we're a team and we're working
Yeah.
together.
Okay. Okay. I see.
Like we're locked in together.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel though as though I'm isolated
Mm,
because I'm obsessed with what's in front of me,
mhm,
and I'm putting so much energy into it. And my team that's with me, we're putting so much energy into it that
mhm.
that becomes my world
Mm,
during that. And it's not until we get to that point where I don't even think I'm there yet, where I'm still when my head is completely up out of the sand because there's so much work to do still.
mm.
But it's start when I start stepping back a little bit, I'm like, oh man, I haven't talked to this person in a long time. Why haven't I talked to that person in a long time? Man, I gotta reach out to that person, man. But it's not intentional. It's
Yeah.
just one of those things where I'm just so locked in. So
Yeah.
when
Mhm,
I start coming out a little bit and start things are starting to move, and I'm not in that creative mode, like
mhm,
creatives, like look at any artist that's working on an album. When it's time for them to work on an album,
mm.
they're not distracted. They're in the
No.
studio,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You look at painters, they're sitting down, they're locked in on their
Mhm.
painting, they're on their project. Like creatives, that's
Yeah.
what you do. Like you lock into that zone.
Yeah.
So however long that you need to be in that zone, you're there. And then when you're coming out now and you're ready to try to show what I've made in my kitchen or what I've made in the studio,
Mhm.
what I made, then you're sharing it with the world. And it's like, oh yeah. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't know if there is a balance. I don't know if there is a balance, right? For me, it was not a balance. And sometimes like, oh man, maybe I should be able to, do, touch a lot of things. But for me, it's like, it is personal. It's like it
Yeah.
becomes more of a distraction,
Mm,
right? So if my mind is not locked in on what I'm doing and I'm allowing other things to distract me, it's going to prolong how much longer that is going to take for my creativeness to be manifest. And I was reading a book. And I talk about this with everyone now. Like this book I just finished reading called "Chop Wood, Carry Water,"
top would
and
carry water.
yeah,
Okay.
chop wood, carry water,
Okay.
man. You ever read that book, man? Oh my goodness. Let me tell you exactly who it's from. Chopped Wood, Carry Water from
Yeah, I'll make sure I link it in the show notes
yeah, because
for
this
sure.
book right here, it's not telling you anything but it's definitely, I mean, for me, Josh Metcalf,
Josh
Josh
Metcalf, chop wood,
Metcalf.
carry water.
Yep. And chop wood, carry water, how to fall in love with the process of becoming great, right?
Oh wow.
So without giving any like too much of a spoiler,
Hmm.
it's a gentleman that wants to become a samurai, a master samurai archer,
Hmm.
right? And so he goes to a monastery to train. Now he goes there, and one of the tasks that they give him to do every single day is to chop wood and carry water,
Hmm.
right? Chopping wood for fire and for cooking, and
Hmm.
water for bathing and washing dishes, all that kind of stuff, right? Which
Hmm.
the camp needs every single day.
Hmm.
So he's doing that every single day. It's a tedious task. And if anyone's seen any of these type of martial arts movies, like put yourself in that
Yeah,
space. Right?
yeah,
So like the wax on, wax off
yeah. I'm
ordeal,
picturing
Karate
Karate
Kid, you know what
Kid.
I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah, you know what I mean? Right. So he often would talk to the sensei and say, "Hey man, like how long would it take for me to become a master archer?" And the sensei was like, "Oh, 10 years." And he's like, "Man, 10 years." Now, mind you, if he wants to become a master archer, he needs to be at the monastery. So now that in my head, I'm reading this like, wow, he has to be at the monastery for 10 years in order
Wow.
to achieve this goal. And if you know anything about a monastery, you're not going out to visit people too often. Maybe
No.
you maybe get some time for people to come visit you, or you may go out, once in a while, but you're secluded for the
Hmm.
purpose of mastery, whether it's
Yeah.
mastery in self-discipline, meditation,
Hmm.
understanding yourself, locking in,
Hmm.
or for training, in which he's
Yeah.
doing, right? So he's saying 10 years to this guy. And he's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
if, if I stop doing this chopping wood, carrying water, which takes a lot of my day, and
Mm.
just focus that on training, then maybe I can cut that time down. And he says to him, he said, no, if you stop doing that stuff, then it's going to take you 20 years to become a master.
Wow.
He's like, that don't even make any sense. That math doesn't make any sense. And a
Yeah.
lot of people that we're thinking about is like, well, if I dedicate more time to it,
Yeah.
then for training, then I can become a master a lot faster.
Yeah,
But he said,
exactly.
no. He said the problem is, he said this. See, these these tasks that you're doing every single day are so essential to you developing your discipline, developing consistency, developing all these things that
Mm.
feed into you becoming that master archer.
Wow.
To where if you would stop doing that, it would take you longer to develop those characteristics in yourself, and therefore it will take you longer to become that master archer.
Man.
So what I took from all of that was, you know, being locked in one at the monastery, like, hey, this is what I really want to do. I got to lock in. I got to isolate myself. I got to really focus on what I want to be master. But then when you're in that, focusing on the little things that you're doing every single day
Hmm.
that are going to contribute
Hmm.
to you being able to accomplish your goal,
Yeah.
right? And the biggest thing that he said to him, he said, listen, the reason why it's going to take longer is because you have one eye on the goal and one eye here in training. And I'm like, well, that makes sense, right? When people do goal setting, you set your
Hmm.
goal, you want to have the goal in front of you. He said the problem with that is that you're divided. He said,
Mm.
when you're one part of you is focused on the goal and the one part of you is focused here, you can never, you're always gonna be separated in your thought process, that separated in your dedication, separating all these things. He says, he's like, yo, he said, what we have to do is, I'm not saying don't set a goal, become a master archer.
Mhm.
What I'm telling you is to surrender your goal and focus on the process.
Wow.
It's like, oh my goodness.
Man.
Oh my goodness. So you're surrendering, okay, I want to become a master
Hmm.
archer. These are the things that are going to get me there. So you say, you know what? I'm going to put all my focus on just doing the things that I know that are going to get me there versus what that outcome is going to be.
Hmm.
And
Wow.
he said, if I lock into what I know is going to get me there and I'm diligent in those things, the future is sure because I'm good with it.
Mm,
And the biggest thing was it's not about the destination, it's not about the goal.
hmm.
Because we both know goalposts change.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Man, you were so excited when I met you to get ready to be graduating.
Yeah.
Now if you look at it, you're like, oh, okay,
It's like,
graduate.
I got
I
a
graduate.
job.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So the goalposts are always going to change, but
Yeah,
the thing that really holds us is who we become in that journey.
that's really good.
And you see a lot of these, professional athletes and people that have been extremely successful. A lot more quotes are coming out, and they're saying it's like the journey is the process. The journey is the goal. The
Mm-hmm.
journey is the goal. The journey is the goal, not the destination. Is the journey.
Mm-hmm.
Who have I become in order to accomplish what I've accomplished? So, man, I've been trying to live by that
That's good.
all aspects of life in balancing life and the balance, endeavors that I'm touching. Me personally, what do I have to do
Mm-hmm.
as an individual? What things am I neglecting? Am I neglecting my fitness? I neglecting my health? Am I neglecting, spending time reading? Am I neglecting my family? All these different things that I know that if I I want to be great in these areas, but if I just focus on these details, I opened up a journal. I know I'm going on and on, so stop me if I'm
No,
talking too
no,
much.
keep going, keep going. That's
I,
good
I
stuff.
I opened up a journal, man. Man, is it here? I opened up a journal the other week, and in my journal, I had wrote. Oh, you know where it was? In my phone. I'm gonna pull it up. It was a note that I had in my phone from back in 2018, and it
Wow.
was a thankful, grateful list. And my
Wow.
idea was sit down every single morning, read this list of things that I'm grateful and thankful for,
Mm-hmm.
just to really center me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this was 2018 that this was built. And I remember going through I went through this whole list and I'm scrolling through because I don't remember because I wasn't diligent in doing this every single
Yeah.
day, being grateful.
Yeah.
Like I had to go find this list, right? I know I started that list at some point. Where's that
Yeah.
list? Right? At the bottom of the list, I wrote 20 years from 2018, right? What do I want to see, right, in my life?
Wow.
And here's what I said. I said, healthy, physically, mentally sharp, spiritually healthy, a healthy marriage, healthy financially, fatherly, healthy in my as a father, and spending more time with my family. That's why I
Wow.
said I want my 20 years from now to look like, right?
Yeah.
But then right under that, this is what I wrote. Daily activities that I need to do that are going to contribute to my thing, right?
That's
So I
good.
wrote down
Good.
exercise, read, pray, meditate, appreciate my wife, affirm my boys,
Mm-hmm.
operate in excellence, and unapologetically be myself.
Wow.
So
That's
I was like, wait a minute, like I wrote this down all these years ago, and I'm checking. I'm like, man, am I? Because a lot of times you can get distracted about the
mm-hmm.
goal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh man, what do I want to do now? What do I want to achieve
Mm-hmm.
now? What do I want to be? And all those different things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, man, I wasn't focused on exercising daily. I wasn't focused on reading
Mm-hmm.
daily. I wasn't focused on praying and appreciating my wife and affirming my
Mm-hmm.
boys daily, operating in excellence daily. Because if I just do these things every single day, I ain't got to worry about what 20 years down the road is going to look like.
That's good. That's true. Very
And
true.
these are going to build things up in me that are going to complete me and elevate me even beyond what I think what my goals are.
Mm-hmm.
So when I saw that, man, and like I said, I don't know why 40 is forcing me into this space of just like, oh man, like, looking at life and everything, but I'm glad it is. And I'm seeing the different pivots that I need to make, even in myself, so that I can look at the journey that I go through in life and really appreciate what I'm learning along the way and really see the success in the journey
Mm-hmm.
and not just the accomplishments that I've attained in life.
So that's really good. I really like how you came back to the journey and the process. So
Yeah.
there's something that John Maxwell always says, like not having the destination disease, like really being focused on the destination or the goal and being
Mhm.
focused on what you're doing daily. And
Yeah.
he talks about that successful people do daily what
Hmm.
unsuccessful people do only occasionally. So
Yes. Yes.
so like
Yes.
what
Yes.
you were saying is key, because I think sometimes we think the difference between success and being unsuccessful is doing extra things, doing more things. But
Mhm.
oftentimes it's just doing the things that you should be doing it more consistently.
Yes. 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 Dude, you're so spot on it, man. And honestly, that's the hardest part
Yeah, because
because look, think about we all grew up in hearing this story at some point in our life of the tortoise and the hare, right? And
yeah.
the right.
Mhm.
So it takes on so many different meanings based off of kind of where you are in life.
Yeah.
And as I reflect on that story and the hare just knowing that it has the speed to beat the turtle, like there's no way a hare can lose to a turtle in the
Yeah.
race. What the hare does, he takes sprints.
Hmm.
He does his race in sprints, and then he feels like he accomplished something. So then he rests,
Hmm.
right? He feels like he got somewhere, so he rests. He's like, "Oh, I know I can get there. I know, so I'm going
Yeah.
to sprint again, and then
Yeah.
I'm going to rest." And how many of us live our life like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I'm gonna get in shape. So I go and do 6 weeks of getting in shape, and it's like, oh, I got in shape now. I'm gonna rest, like, or 12 weeks, or some people
Yeah.
do 2 days, right? You know, like whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Or even when you're in professional career, like you do a couple of weeks of doing great assignments, or you wait until it's bonus time,
Hmm.
or a time of the year, or a review time, and then time it out a couple months before to start doing great work, right? You know, I've seen it all, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we're wondering why we're not progressing in our careers, but
Hmm.
it's because we're taking that hair mentality of, all right, let me just do something really quick to make an immediate impact
Hmm.
and change my space quickly so people can have the perception that, yeah, I'm really on my way somewhere. But along the way, you've had this tortoise that's taken one step after the next,
Yeah.
one step after the next, not stopping, same pace, one step after the next. And then the next thing you know, the hare wakes up and realizes that the tortoise crosses the finish line before he does. So I look at our lives, and it's like what Maxwell and all these guys said is we can get so caught up in our abilities, so caught up in trying to fabricate what success looks like,
Hmm.
comparing ourselves to other people.
Oh man, yeah, that's the worst. Yep.
You know, like this hare thought he was better than the tortoise because he can go faster and get to another place in life before the tortoise got there.
Hmm.
Think about that. Like, you think about that on your career. Like, you know, there's people that elevate quickly,
Hmm.
right? And they're like, oh yeah, you know, I'm better than this person now, or they're able to change jobs and get a better position. But that next thing you know, you have another person just taking one step at a
Hmm.
time, step by step by step, and then the next thing you know, it's like, wow, there's a shift,
Hmm.
and this person that was nowhere seen on the thing is now in a position of authority. This person has risen and I wouldn't say won a race, but more so has accomplished tasks that you would have never thought he would accomplish before other people. Why? Because he wasn't worried about status.
Yeah.
He wasn't worried about positioning.
Hmm.
He was worried about was taking one step at a time. So that's why I would encourage all the listeners, man. I don't know where you guys are in your life, but you know, it's that step by step approach and being content and being satisfied in what you currently have, where you currently are,
Hmm.
what's surrounding you, family, friends, your job, your career, your business that you started up, being satisfied and content where you are. Not saying don't push. I'm telling you, make a step.
Yeah,
Keep making
take that
one step.
take
Yeah,
steps.
you know,
Yeah.
but don't worry about the person to the left on your Instagram reel
Uh-huh.
that paid someone to do media for them and is
Yeah.
making it look like a superstar. Don't worry about that person. right? Don't worry about that person that looks like their family is doing well, and because every time they post, their family's smiling on social media.
Mhm.
Like, who's going to post a picture of people not smiling? Like,
No.
come on. Like, don't get caught up in, oh, someone bought a vehicle that you wanted before you were able to buy it. Yeah, they may have had the money, they may not. I don't know what their situation is.
Yeah.
It's not your situation.
Hmm.
And as long as we keep trying to chase other people, the things that they have, and not focusing on my step by step by step, you will never, ever find contentment in life. You will
Mm.
never find peace in life. And that's why this gratefulness is so important, because it really brings you back into reality of, man, all the things that I have around me, all the things that I'm able to touch, the life that I'm able to live. If you're listening to this podcast right now, you're blessed.
Yes.
I'm just gonna flat out tell you, you have either have some technology that you have to listen to this.
Yeah, that's
Your
true.
cell phone or your computer.
Hmm.
Like, not everybody has it. And that
Uh,
computer could be in your house that has electricity. Not everyone has
yeah,
electricity.
that's
That
true.
computer can be a tablet that you're carrying on the road. Not everyone has these tablets and all these gadgets, right? It could be on your cell phone that you're paying a monthly bill for. That means you have to have money in order to pay for that monthly bill. So that means you have to have work. You have to have a job. So there's so
Hmm.
many things that we can be grateful for,
Yeah.
but we're so busy looking at what other people are doing in their lives and doing that comparison thing.
Mm.
And as long as, going back to that, what the sensei said, as long as you have your eye on your goal or someone else's goal, right? And
Mm.
not what you have currently in front of you, it will take you longer to get where you need to be. So, yeah.
That you put that amazingly well. That really comparison is a thief of joy, and
Hmm.
focusing on your process and what you want to do. Because I know even like when I was coming up in college, and even sometimes I have to catch myself that there's this idea of what success looks like or what you need to be doing, and then like you talked about like looking at other people's reels or TikToks, all the stuff that they're doing, but it all is they're highlight reels. Like no one's life is
Exactly.
like that all the time. It's like when you, like we were talking about baseball, like they don't show all the times that they made an
Strike out.
error or they
Yeah,
struck out.
exactly.
Like if you look at just the highlight reels, you'd be like, this person batted
Amazing.
1,000. They had 100 home runs.
Exactly.
Like, like no one is like that. But
It's crazy, man. It is crazy. But that's where there's something in us as humans to want to, I use the word covet, uh,
mm,
have,
it
right? Some
is, yeah,
that humans as humans where, you know, like you're talking about the highlight reels, now I coach kids basketball, youth basketball.
wow,
And a lot of these kids where they miss a shot and their head is hanging low. I'm like, why are you upset you missed the shot? Oh, I missed a shot. I'm like, are you Steph Curry? Like, no. I said, do you know Steph only makes 40 something percent of his shots?
yeah, and he's elite.
And he's the best shooter to ever be in the game.
Yeah,
He only makes 40%. Let me put it to you this way. He misses between 50 and 50 plus more percent of his shots that he
hmm
shoots.
hmm
So I know you're not him. I know you haven't even been working as closely as hard as he is.
yeah,
So why are you hanging your head when you miss a shot?
that's good perspective.
But they don't see that. All they see is they go on YouTube and the clips just show all the baskets that are made.
Hmm.
They don't watch full games anymore. They just watch every possession when a shot is made. So they're thinking they go out there and they're going to make a shot every possession.
Yeah, yeah,
But you see what the programming is doing
mm,
to us as human beings
mm,
of fabricating what life really is.
hmm
So now people are going to escape. And I love it. I'm in technology now, so I love a lot of the technology coming out. But now you have people escaping into the metaverse,
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
because now is you can build a reality or a false reality of
Mhm.
life that suits your desires of growth, suits your desire of winnings all the time and things of that nature. But man, that's not life.
It's not.
You can't escape life. This is life you're gonna live. You can't escape life.
Mm-mm.
So man, it's just crazy, just the challenges that are around today, and technology is a big part of
Yeah.
why we're being exposed to a lot of this stuff. And we
Yeah.
love technology. I don't want less technology, but
Yeah.
we got to be people, and it has to be someone also, raising the flag or on the board and saying, okay, guys, it's great, but these are the things that we need to be careful of.
Mm.
These are the red flags, and this is what we need to be training ourselves and training our kids to be able to see and understand about what's going on in this technology. We still got to keep perspective in life.
Hmm.
If we don't have that, we're gonna our man. I feel so bad for the generations coming behind us.
No, the perspective is everything, and social media has definitely not helped that because we only see the positive, and that's not how life is. The metaverse, AI,
Yeah,
like I love all these things, and they're great things, but we need to keep it as a tool and not let
yes,
it consume us. And
yeah,
like this whole idea, like you mentioned, with people coveting other things, and it's just human nature. I mean, I'm a person of faith, so I just one of the 10 Commandments not to
yeah,
covet
yeah, 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 yeah.
someone else's. God already knows that that's what we're gonna do. And so he
Yes,
tells us not to do it because he knows what it's gonna do to
yes,
us when we do it.
yes, yes. And you know what's crazy, Paul? You say that, man. When you're younger and you read through the Ten Commandments and you're like, oh, okay. And when I always remember being on that covenant side, and I was like, it wasn't as big of a deal when I was
Yeah,
younger, right?
yeah.
It wasn't like as like in your
No.
face. Man, how am I gonna do that? Yeah, okay. Well, I don't care what I
It's
don't care
like
if
it's
my
not
neighbor
deep,
has
it's
it. Yeah,
fine.
like whatever. Yeah. But I'm realizing that as these years have gone, the increase of exposure to people's lives, what people are doing,
Hmm.
what they're not doing, it forms, hey, like prime example, right? You go through a stint where you start seeing all these ads about Tulum, Mexico.
Mm,
And then
mm.
what else? What do you see? Start people going on vacations to Tulum. Oh, I'm going to Tulum. Oh, I'm going to Tulum. Another video. Hey, my vacation in Tulum. Oh, my vacation. Nobody was talking about Tulum,
No.
So it's
It's
just like,
true.
wow. And then it's like, oh, something wrong. I want to go there. But no, that's kind of feeding into I want to do what someone else is doing. Right.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
it's crazy just if you don't have that, and it can catch everybody up. It can catch
Oh
anybody.
yeah.
It's just part of it. And I don't want the the community and your audience here to I don't want them to take away like, hey, I'm not bashing social media, I'm not bashing
Oh,
technology,
wow.
all those different things. But what I want to make sure that people realize that it comes with a responsibility,
Hmm.
and some people aren't ready for it.
That's very true.
So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we can go on and on about that, but we we're about out of time. I want to make sure if there's anything about you or what you're doing that you want the audience to know about you, what you do.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, man. I am thank you so much. When we met years ago, I would have never thought I always knew we're connected in some fashion and stay connected. Like you're one of the few people that I stay connected with over the years and some of the events you and Adolfo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I talk to him all the time. He's doing great, man. He's
Yeah,
at
he
now. He's
yeah.
really good. I met both of you guys at that first conference that I went to,
Mm.
Brian. And so it's really good seeing you guys grow and all the things that happen in your lives, families expanding, all that good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. But for me, guys, if you want to connect with me, I mean, first place, you can hear me every single week on my podcast, The Success Journey Show. You can find that on all listening platforms and also internet radio, iHeartRadio, 21.6 The Net as well. We have
Wow.
conversations about the journey of success, right? We have conversations about people that have arrived, quote unquote, arrived,
Mm.
right? It's kind of flipping the perception of like they don't feel like they arrived anywhere. They're just still on
Mm.
the journey, right? And being
Mm.
able to give insight to people that are also trying to travel similar paths as them. So check us out on the Success Journey Show, and then also Hit Doctor. I'd be remiss if I didn't say anything about
Yeah.
Doctor, hit Doctor MD, hit Doctor MD. See the wordplay on the
Yeah.
M, Doctor. It
Yeah.
actually stands for Maryland, right? The MD.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Like that.
and that's a whole long story too. Like learning as you go along. Like it's
That's
just crazy how
good.
things
That's
come together,
good.
right? So hit drmd.com. You can go on there and you can see our first product, the Elite Swing Trainer, that is on the market, and we're so excited about it, man. We're selling all over the globe, literally
Wow.
selling over the globe. We launched it in January, and we are really excited about the feedback that we're getting about it.
Mm,
And people are loving it. Kids are loving it. Parents love it. Coaches are loving it
wow.
that are in this space, man. They love this tool. And it makes me feel good that we have something out there that's helping kids every single day, boys and girls, become better and greater in their sport of their choosing. So check me out on those two different platforms. You can, if you email either one of those from the contact me, it comes straight to me, and I will. Yeah, I'll get back to you from there. So thank you again so much for allowing me to spend some time with you, share with your listeners here, and I wish you nothing but the best. Blessings.
Yes. No, it's been an honor having you. Like you said, like way back when we connected, I didn't even see myself in this space. Like if you even asked me like 2 years ago, I would have been like, why would I have a podcast? Like I'm trying to speak. Like, why would I do podcasting?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's just amazing. Like I'll just wrap it up like what we've been talking about, like all the stuff that you've been able to do. And we're really, like I say, we barely touched the surface of what you are currently doing. Let's talk about what you've done in the past.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll definitely I'll make sure I put your LinkedIn profile there if you're comfortable with that, because you have a lot of
Yes,
stuff that you're always doing. So people need to stay connected with you, whether they're on the STEM space or entrepreneurial space. You bring it all together.
yeah.
So it's amazing. But thank you for sharing your journey and your passion in STEM that's come into entrepreneurship, and also really marrying that with your passion for your family and putting first things first, the priorities. Because I know a lot of times we say things are priorities, but when you look at your calendar, it doesn't match up. And that's something that I'm actually
Mhm.
working on,
Mhm.
is like, do what you say you're doing and what you're actually doing, do those things marry up? So thanks
Yeah,
for all you do. And it's been so cool to see all the stuff you have done and also you are continuing to do over the years.
I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So for everyone listening, I hope you learned something. Take it step by step, enjoy the journey, enjoy the process so that you can keep being incredible.
Be sure to rate and review this podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform. We'll see you here next time. And be incredible. Incredible. Incredible.